and gentlemen, here we're in my witchy lair and we're going to be doing a spell. Here we have some of our many materials. We have these different cups. And what is the plan for today is we're going to be using the power of this fizzy soda to get these raisins to go up and down. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna be doing that. But I've been curious, as a young apprentice with myself, if I were to add baking soda and vinegar, if it would make it go faster, how would it affect it? So that's what we'll be finding out today. Here we're gonna be starting with this cup. This cup is gonna be our control group. Here we're gonna be opening our fizzy soda. Oh. We're going to be doing exactly 1 cup. The mighty pour. And here we have our dehydrated grapes. I'll be adding in a handful. And as you can see, the air bubbles, the fizziness is catching the grapes and they're going up and down. I'll say at a pretty high rate. But how can we make this better? I'll be adding 1 more cup of Sprite. But you see, this is what we have at this level. If we add more Sprite, would it go higher or would it stay at this level? It's time to find out. One more cup. And as you can see, they have rose higher. With the increase in liquid, they have still gotten to a higher height than what it was before. I find that to be very interesting. Here, in our second cup, we'll be doing the same thing. Well, first we'll be adding 1 cup. Then, we'll be adding a few raisins. And as you see, they are rising up and they are going down. Except in this one, instead of adding more Sprite, we'll be adding in some white distilled vinegar from right here. We're going to be doing 1/4 of a cup. Let's compare. There are significantly more up right here than is right here. Here we only have 4 raisins to the top, while much more are moving right here. So personally, I'll say this might be a fail. But we'll leave it right here. See what happens. Until then, we'll be moving on to our next experiment. Here is another group. We'll be doing the same as last time, adding in 1 cup of Sprite. And we'll be adding in a few raisins. However, unlike last time, we'll be mixing this cup with some baking soda. Here, in this encased closed, we have baking soda. We'll be adding in 1/4 of a cup. Cup full. That was unplanned. There are significantly more bubbles overall. And the water has turned cloudy, but all of them were at the top for a second, but then it just stopped. Here we have vinegar. It's still working. This one seems to be working the best. They're moving the most. Some are just sticking at the top. And here, nothing's happening at all. Putting them off to the side. We're doing our third group. This one, we're going to be bewitching it with both baking powder and vinegar. And Sprite. One cup. Some raisins. Here they are, rising and falling. We'll be adding 1/4 a cup of baking powder. And here we see that immediate rise. But then it all seems to be going down. Here we're going to be adding 1/4 of a cup of vinegar. But, unlike the other one, we still have some at the top. Now, isn't that curious? Actually, matter of fact, they're still moving. However, the powder still seems to be at the bottom with both. Neither of them has the powder fully assimilated with the Sprite or the vinegar. Now that is a mystery. Perhaps if we were to mix them, even that one would start to rise. Wait, is that any rising? 2 rows, but like you're not at the top. Question mark? This one is definitely doing more than that one. We only have 2 rising, and the other one's right at the bottom. And I did hand select these raisins for their lightness, shown as here and here. We're gonna mix this. Here it is cloudy again. One raisin is at the top. Here we have 2 raisins that are making commutes. The other raisins seem to be idle. With a little bit of force, we have unsettled the sediment. Yeah, here it shows again, all of it has went back to the bottom. Very interesting. Here, we shall show. It seems this one is taking longer to clear up than this one. This one has a mix of both baking soda and vinegar, but I can't see the Sprite. But it is very clearly clearing up. And there are all raisins that are making commutes, just very few compared to the others. Say, this one here, even holding up here, you can see that many more raisins are doing movement, as such as this one. It seemed my hypothesis was incorrect. I had thought that perhaps if I added something that maybe it would improve, but it seems that the original recipe, these typical ones, are the ones that work the best. But maybe the problem here is baking soda. Maybe because the baking soda was not properly mixed in with the other things. But I have disbanded that theory by mixing them and seeing that they ultimately went back to the bottom. Now, as you can see, we do have more that are moving right here and here. But ultimately, the ones without baking soda are doing the best. That is the conclusion of this experiment. We found that baking soda hinders the development. And why? As you can see, in the first explosion, all of the air bubbles must have gotten taken out. Because I can see here and here, there are many air bubbles. There are many. However, whenever it exploded, it rose up. Much of the air, the carbonation must have came out. And that's why these two are not working the same. The baking soda reacted, releasing a lot of the carbonation, which is why they're moving slowly. As you can see here, the air bubbles are very slow. And personally, I would say they're smaller than inside of here. Here, the air bubbles look bigger, and they're very clearly more quick. However, in here, the air bubbles are moving at a much slower rate. I think that concludes this experiment. Good day and goodbye.